The wedding bells were moments from ringing when Chaos, the decorated K9 unit dog, let out a guttural growl that silenced the chapel. People turned, confused. The bride, cloaked in elegance and wearing a radiant smile, froze at the altar. The groom, Mark Wallace, a local firefighter and beloved town hero, stared at his dog in disbelief. Chaos had never growled like that before. Not once in their 5 years of partnership. Not during busts, not during rescues, not even when danger lurked close. But now, at Mark's wedding, the dog that had saved lives with loyalty and precision was sounding a silent alarm no one yet understood. Mark was the kind of man everyone rooted for. Raised by a single mother after his father died in a warehouse fire, he had grown up with a deep sense of service and integrity. Becoming a firefighter was his way of honoring his father. His partnership with Chaos had only magnified his heroism. They'd saved countless lives during floods, fires, and building collapses. The town of Elmwood Springs adored him. When Mark announced his engagement to Lila Trent, a stunning newcomer who had arrived in town just 10 months ago, people were surprised but happy for him. Lila was poised, intelligent, and seemed devoted to Mark. She worked at the local clinic as a nurse and carried herself with a quiet grace that charmed everyone. Except Chaos. The dog never warmed to her. Mark had dismissed it, attributing it to stress or maybe jealousy. After all, he and Chaos had lived alone for years. A change in their pack was bound to create some tension, he'd told himself. But he was wrong. It started small, Chaos refusing to be near Lila, barking when she entered Mark's house, growling when she touched his uniform. Friends joked about it. Maybe Chaos is just being protective, they'd say. But something about the dog's instincts disturbed Mark. Then came the day of the wedding rehearsal. Mark had stepped out to take a call from the fire station, leaving Chaos resting outside the church. Lila was inside alone. What happened next became the turning point. Chaos broke free of his leash and lunged toward the side entrance, slamming his body against the wooden door. He barked relentlessly, drawing the attention of Pastor Evans and several others inside. When they rushed in, they found Lila talking to a stranger, a man no one recognized. He vanished before questions could be asked, and Lila brushed it off, saying he was a cousin wishing her well. Chaos didn't buy it, neither did Mark. Haunted by doubts, Mark accessed his resources at the station. With a few calls and some quiet help from a retired detective who owed him a favor, he dug deeper into Lila's past. What he found tore through him like wildfire. Lila Trent wasn't her real name. Her actual name was Clara Jennings. 5 years ago, she had been arrested, and later acquitted, in connection with a multi-million-dollar embezzlement scheme that rocked a tech company in Dallas. Though she walked free on a legal technicality, rumors swirled about her manipulating the CEO, laundering money, and vanishing with a portion of the missing funds. She disappeared from public records shortly after. Worse, the stranger at the rehearsal. He was a private investigator from Dallas. He had tracked her down, hoping to recover what she had taken. And she had lied, again. Mark was devastated. He confronted her the night before the wedding, and she broke down in tears, claiming she had changed. That she never meant to hurt him. That love had made her someone new. But love, as Mark knew, was built on truth, and hers had none. And now, as Chaos growled in front of the altar, sensing the tension in the air, Mark knew the decision had already been made. He stepped forward, placed a steady hand on Chaos's head, and turned to the stunned crowd. "I'm sorry," he said, voice strong despite the storm in his chest. "There will be no wedding today." Gasps swept through the room. Lila's eyes welled with tears, but she didn't speak. Mark didn't need her to. He looked out at the crowd, at his mother, his firehouse brothers, the kids he read to on weekends, the old veterans he visited at the shelter, and he knew the truth mattered more than the fairy tale. In the weeks that followed, the truth made its way through town like ripples on a pond. Most were stunned, some were angry, a few even sympathized with Lila. But all stood with Mark. Chaos was honored in a town ceremony for his loyalty and service. A bronze tag engraved with, "Protector Always," was added to his collar. Mark eventually returned to work, a little quieter, but wiser. He and Chaos became more than a firefighter and AK-9, they were a symbol of truth, intuition, and resilience. People began coming to him not just for help, but for hope. 1 year later, Mark gave a speech at the Elmwood Springs Youth Academy. His final words stayed with everyone who heard them. "Trust is fragile. It's not built by beauty or charm, but by honesty and time. And sometimes, the truth doesn't bark, it growls, silently, urging us to look deeper. Listen to it, whether it comes from your gut, your heart, or even a dog by your side, the truth will always protect you if you're brave enough to hear it. And with chaos lying loyally at his feet, Mark walked forward, not as a man left at the altar, but as one who had chosen integrity over illusion. And in doing so, he inspired a town to do the same.